Don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand wants a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way, chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try, chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen. You will rise up to the top.
A grandiose battle is coming. We've all been waiting for this battle to happen. But mostly, the god of the dead, Osiris. The 32 division champions of each realm have progressed to the playoffs, but only one will be crowned champion. The Grand Trophy is awarded to the strongest in the Hall of Fame. But who is worthy now? Are you strong enough to become a champion? Prove it. Overwhelm your enemies. Show off your skills. And be everyone's bet. Let the fight begin.
Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothian here, and we are in the finals, baby. We are here, finally, after weeks of contentious fighting. Let's take a look really quick what led here from the playoffs, round of 16. Oh my, this is going to be a unique experience because not only are we going to have two finals matches today, but one, the first one, the one you're watching right now, has the realm of Bastet, which is a new realm in the official Osiris League Season 4. Here we are, guys. I cannot wait to bring you this showcase. These two teams here are ones that, of course, because they're in the realm of Bastet, have not gotten a whole lot of coverage on the official channel, but now that they are in the finals, and we're lucky enough to be at the 13 UTC matchup time, we're going to get to showcase the finest of the realm of Bastet. So here we go. We have WIB from Kingdom 846. Watch It Burn, led by HD Cartel Bacon. That might not be accurate, but that's what's there, okay? They beat their own alliance last week, Savage, as my friend Chiskel would say. Speaking of Chiskel, are you as excited as I am, Chiskel, for what is going to be, in my opinion, a precursor for what could be next season's Osiris League champions?
I couldn't possibly be more hyped. This is the finals. This is the best of the best that the realm has. I mean, I can't wait to watch, to learn, and to see what crazy plays they come up with.
Yeah, me too. These guys, again, savagely beat their own alliance from their own kingdom to get here. They said, you know what? Friendships are aside. I want to be the winner. I want to win. I want to win all the way. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to beat y'all, and I'm going to go to the finals next Sunday, which is today, and we are going to try and win the Osiris League Championship for the Realm of Bastet. Get that nice little graphic on top of our Alliance banner. And oh yeah, some pretty sweet rewards as well. Conversely though, 60 GT here. No easy task for WIB. 60 GT is a seasoned team from Kingdom 960. Not only are they one of the top teams in Realm of Bastet, but they've got experience from previous seasons. They've come here to 960 and made their new claim on what's to be, hopefully for them as well, their stake at this actual last season of just taking everything. They want to win. They want to beat WIB. They want to watch WIB burn. And I can't wait to see this matchup. This is going to be exceptional. They also beat another seasoned team, Raze, K916, 86, NK, all great teams here. And these two championship caliber teams here are going to be fun to watch. I've heard some strategy things that we want to look out for, Chiskel, but what do you think in your mind before we jump into the match here? What exactly do you want to be seeing from both of these teams?
Oh, so I mean, first of all, it's called the Ark of Osiris for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you don't make big plays for the Arks, you're going to lose the Ark of Osiris. My opinion, you're going to lose the match. So I think that both teams are going to play for structures as we've seen all the way up to this point in League, but I don't think that the structure game is going to be what makes or breaks one team or another. I think it's going to be getting those arcs and getting those big jumps and points when you do that. I think both teams, I would expect, are running 2 provisioners. I would expect that building game to be about even, the slaying to be about even, but the arc is going to define it, I think.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again all these top tier, top flight matches end with a last minute arc. Or did they hold the arc or not? Or did they maximum capture the arc and have 4 or 5 arcs spawn in one match? I'm really interested to see which way these guys decide to go. That being said, we are up. So Chisco, I'm going to go ahead and jump us into the match, and I'll see all of you on the other side. So here we go. I love our finals, our playoff finals graphics between WIB and 60 GT. We have got some stellar players on both sides. famous, non-famous, it doesn't matter. They're all here. They're all on one team. And here we go on the red side. We've got 60 GT here coming in hot. 3 billion power. Really curious to see who is going to take the championship here. This is for everything. This match is for all the marbles. Bronco, Crown Royal, HP Enigma, and Mateo being the key combatants for WIB from 846. And we have 4 solid players from 60 GT with massive kill scores and huge provision scores. Look at that, over 8,600 provision score. That may tell a little bit of a tale for what we might be looking to see here. WIB, again, taking out their own alliance from their own kingdom to get to the finals. Relationships are aside. There are no friends when it comes to getting to the finals of the season for Osiris League Championship. Chiskel, we've got the map up. 45 seconds left. If you had to say, are they gonna hold, or are they going to keep it? Do you think that they're going to, I guess here's the question. Do you think that they're going to play the ARC game like you were talking about in the precursor? Are they going to go ahead and be adaptive to hold it? Or do you think these guys have their strategy already in place and they're just going to run with it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask. How many arcs are going to be captured in this game? And I think it's going to be either a 2 or a 3 arc game. A lot of teams seem to be veering toward that 2 arc strategy in order to control the flow of points, and they just go all in on both arcs. Speaking of all in, 1-0, the battle begins, baby. All in right at the start, rallies off the gates. I see more coming in, but there are outpost rallies happening here. 11 rallies set so far. There's 12. 12 rallies set. More. 13. It just keeps ticking up. Dragothian, what do you think about this outpost rallying strategy? And before you jump in, I'll just say, we know why they're rallying obelisks. They're moving defensive forces to their own obelisks. They're moving forces downfield, most likely, to the enemy side of the battlefield using the march speed of rallies for the enemy obelisks. But what do you think about these outpost captures?
You know, the outpost captures, I think at the beginning, it's fine to go ahead and kind of get some things going, delay strategies, get people off of their timing game, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the map as well so we have fully featured armies instead of these singular dots. So if you want to go ahead and chat while I'm doing that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, let's get the full graphics, baby. So, you know, we've talked in the past about how rallying an outpost is a little weird as a choice, only because the maximum march size with high levels of VIP and with a 50% expansion is 310,000 troops, but the capacity of the outpost is only 500,000. So you're shortchanging your combination that you're rallying with by about 120,000 troops in order to rally that thing. But there's a lot of points to gain from these outposts. Looking like first occupation is 80 points, and 30 points per minute per outpost is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they stack up really nicely, especially if you can get a hold of all 3. They become really important and actually become the second best point generating structure if you combine all 3 together on the map. So if you can harass that, not only at the beginning, but throughout the match, it's a consistent thorn in a team's side to have to worry about getting marches to go way back into the back to go grab those outposts back. Whereas if you can just control those, have a nice garrison in each one of them, make sure that you don't lose them, you can really focus on being aggressive, pushing forward, and taking those opponent structures.
That is a really good insight, by the way. All 3 of those are worth 90 points per minute. It's actually more than a Shrine of Life or Shrine of War, which are 80 points per minute.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you again, the way I look at it in my matches is I see those outposts as one structure, and it's kind of like a little event where I've got to, take stage 1, take stage 2, and take stage 3. That's kind of how I view those outposts. They are singular. Obviously, you don't have to have all 3 at once, but from a points perspective, it's good to look at it that way because it makes those just so much more important. And as we're talking about them, there's 2 rallies, and both Edward rallies, by the way. These may be for speed on archers. 3 rallies, all Edward rallies going to these outposts, and they're crossing paths. They're all Edward rallies as well. My goodness, 6 Edward rallies. Have you ever seen such a thing? Going through the middle of an arc match for the playoffs, for the win, for the championship. That's crazy.
You know, also crazy is the aggression at the northern desert altar on the blue side of the map. 60 GT, I mean, they have the numbers. I am very concerned. I actually don't understand why 60 GT is sitting back right now.
Yeah,
They've got like 10 marches to the 4 of Webb. I think they should clear them out of there. And they are forfeiting this massive advantage they have. I don't get this play. It's very passive. Now waking up, it looks like they're finally saying, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Maybe we should do something.
Why? Yeah. Why are we giving this for free? And here's why, Dragothian.
Look at those
the commanders they're using. Have you ever seen so many double C pairs?
Oh my.
And Belisarius pairs in your life? I haven't.
So obviously this pains my heart. However, I know why they did this. It's for that exact reason. Speed is everything. If you have those speedy marches up front, these blue marches from Webb here are coming in. They're like, oh, there's a lot of marches sitting there. I don't know if I necessarily want to go there right in a second. Even though they might have a Saladin William or something like that. Obviously, in this matchup, they can't have William. The commanders are limited, guys, in this realm because of how new it is. So you can only go up to Season 2 commanders in this matchup. And with 5 seconds until this building opens up, it's looking pretty good for red.
Sure is.
Ooh.
Boom! Blue's got the grab.
That's all
good
about
for
timing.
them.
But they lost everything else.
And now all those double C marches that got here really early look really inefficient as a choice for being here, right? If they'd had a combat march, even Minamoto primary, they probably would have got here just in time for this moment. Although, they are swarming this thing pretty nicely.
I still think that Saladin's going to do a lot of work against some double C and Belisarius primary commander. Oh my goodness. I mean, oh my goodness. 60 GT took everything else pretty much, and now they're starting to lose it, and Webb is starting to get it back. But this particular desert altar was pretty crazy. Webb's definitely secured the other one as well. They are good to go.
Yeah, I mean, dude, all these double C primaries swarming this building, it's like trying to cut a rock with a butter knife. Like, this is never going to work.
Oh my! This is something that I have seen other teams do. It's usually not with so many Belisariuses. It's mostly double Cs, like you said, and it works really well. I think that really it's better to use that setup on maybe a farther away structure. Like you could do that using double C or Belisarius primary marches. You could get to the farthest away sky altar from your starting zone, and that's the only way really to do it without it being a rally and breaking, which you can only fit so many marches, full marches inside of a rally. So if you have massive amount of double C Belisarius led, even Dragon Lancer if you want, they're all there, right? They're all usable. You could get to the sky altar even, not just the desert altar, that early.
I mean, I thought the play was exceptional. They got there, they had presence. I would have been a little more aggressive, even though they were all double C marches. Mm-hmm. But I thought the play was really good, but it didn't work. And it didn't work because they didn't actually get in the building first. If they had, I think we'd be looking at a totally different story here.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's totally correct. The map is starting to normalize finally, which is very nice. Looking at red team getting their side. Blue team, with the exception of one outpost, has all their buildings. Still assaulting the desert altar on the bottom lane, but is getting to the point where people are starting to think of arc dispatch time. We've got 60 GT already starting to collaborate in the middle by their caravan. WIB starting to do the same thing here, although a little bit behind. I see also an Ethelfled Barca coming in from Makote, aka Marquinhos. This is going to be interesting. Yeah.
I like that they're going to the middle. Look, when it comes to going to the middle, if you're not early, you're late.
Yeah.
And being late is tragic. I mean, really.
Worst feeling.
Really. tragic, right? Like, I get if you show up late to a mid fight, you say, but I brought, however many marches. But if you're late, you miss a lot of the action because this fight, Dragothian, would you agree that it tends to sort of snowball in favor of one team or another?
It really does, especially, again, like you said, if you're earlier, you can really position the way you want. You can dictate the fight. A lot of times, the people that are early also are the ones that attack first because they are in a point of advantage, whether it's territorially or whether it's number superiority wise. And maybe 60 GT has decided to go up a little too late, even though they were early to the center, maybe a little too late to move up to the center because now WIB is starting to get in here in full force and really start to bring it. I don't know if 60 GT has enough players here yet to really think about engaging. I think maybe, well, first off, there's a mixed troop Belisarius rally going by me on my screen. But besides that, I think they may be a little bit later than we thought.
Yeah, I think there was a window of opportunity, and they're taking it. I think this is a great play. They're just stepping to the other side of the temple, and because the team in blue is not forming up on their side of the temple, they've really forfeit their position for almost no value, I think. And I also will, in the same breath, say that it's really not that big a deal either. With 2 minutes and 45 seconds until the arc spawns, there's really plenty of time for either team to be positioned fully around the temple. Yeah, the team in red, 60 GT, has a little bit of an advantage, but oh gosh,
here we go. They're
con
pushing.
march getting a little caught out.
Oh, they're not pushing.
Funny.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I'm sure you've seen like the Lord of the Rings movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this moment where armies are lining up and they're yelling at each other and they're all hyped and they're doing their war cries, and someone accidentally shoots an arrow and then the whole battle starts. This feels like one of those moments
that
where
con.
Yeah, it might not be the time to start fighting yet, but if you shoot the arrow early, I think you're gonna start the fight prematurely, and here it is. That's happening now.
They're the guys just dragging the mass of 60 GT right up into. Okay, I guess here's the time.
There it is.
Yeah, starts to buff.
War
buff
drums
chain.
active, mystical formation active. That is the classic combinations. Both teams are deploying it. You generally only have about 4 points, and what I find so fascinating is that somehow the folks in blue have managed to pull the team in red, 60 GT, all the way away from their dominant position in the temple. That is so fascinating. Now both teams are trying to get back to the temple.
I was gonna say, I like that 60 GT was so far away from it. They had 4 or 5 players just sitting at the temple. Now they're not. They're starting to come into the murder ball here, but yeah, I mean, here's the double C for 60 GT just sitting here. I think that was looking pretty. Heaven's Grace very early.
You know what that means? That means they didn't use the skill at the start, hard push, and I love this play. I have been saying to my own team all season, what if they don't use hard push? What does that mean for the arc? And now we'll see. Now, Dragothian, did you catch which team used that?
It was WIB. So WIB used it. Blue team used it. Now, counterpoint. They lost their altar on the top lane during this whole process, okay? And also, I mean, Heaven's Grace is not a cheap skill, and it's also not a quick replacement skill. So you only get a couple of those a match for Heaven's Grace. So using it early on,
every 10 minutes.
Yeah. So once using it that early on, is this going to be something that they're going to use every time? Probably not. They could use it every other time, but that's a lot of points.
Well, but they might try to capture and hold the arc, right? So they may be going for a 2-arc game.
Sure.
And if they are, then what they're going to do for the next arc is go all in with like to the death and however much else they could get done there. But 60 GT is
they're
pulling
grabbing
that
arc. They're grabbing the arc and they are running with it. This is the second pickup they've had. WIB has yet to actually own the arc, even though it looks like it's, well, I don't know. I think 60 GT might even have the fight too.
Yeah, I actually think that despite having deployed the extra healing ability,
it's not enough.
This seems to be going in favor of 60 GT, don't you think?
It does. Let me zoom out just a little bit and see if we can get the pyramids to tell us the tale. It looks pretty even still. I think 60 GT does have a little bit of an advantage. I see a lot of blue marches getting sent back home, though, and obviously being closer to 60 GT territory, this is a lot easier for 60 GT to reinforce than is for WIB. And while we're watching this continue to unfold, I'm looking over here at the Desert Altar on the top lane too. It is still in the hands of 60 GT. There is no rally. There is only 2 marches hitting it, one of which is a double C primary, and this Edward garrison, believe it or not, is holding its own against 2 solo marches.
The fight's still unfolding in the middle. A lot of commanders that we're seeing folks are familiar with here. Minamoto, Ethel, Sun Tzu. We see some Constantines running around, some Khans, which is pretty cool. Saladin all over the place. A few Mulans, I think is, in this meta, really, really, really good. A commander like Mulan really, I think, shines in this sort of a situation. And 60 GT is moving that arc closer and closer and closer to their own side of the battlefield. I mean, that arc, I dare I say, it's gone. I don't think there's a recovery here for WIB to get this arc.
Yeah, not at all. I think that the double C primary commanders over here from WIB are not going to do what they're trying to do, which is to take that arc carrier down. And I mean, it's an infantry led carrier right now, and this double C is basically getting killed by its own counterattack damage. So it's killing itself. WIB taking back the top Desert Altar, but now losing the Sky Altar on the bottom side. This structure game from 60 GT is very strong. Did WIB literally send everybody to the middle to win that and still did not get a chance to capture that arc?
Yeah, I think this is really problematic for them. For a brief moment, they had 0 altars in WIB. So they're not getting the arc. And it's okay to lose the structure game temporarily while you're getting the arc. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is 60 GT is taking the arc and taking all of the structures. And I think that is extremely problematic for WIB.
A great move by 60 GT player Zed coming in on the back end of the middle tier, the middle zone here, and supporting an Edward rally against this what is basically meta in the realm of Bastet, Wu garrison with likely. Well, let's see what's second to Wu. Is it Wu YSG? Is it Wu Richard? Is it Wu Constantine? That's Wu. Actually, it's not showing us what that second one is. I'm trying to see the second animation. I don't see it, but Zed and another player from 60 GT coming around the backside here and doing a great job of possibly taking the Shrine of War away from WIB, although this rally is going down very quickly. But now we have a swarm. Wu, however, very strong against the swarm, right, Chisco?
Yeah, well, you know, I sort of wonder if the new Viking legendary is a pretty decent open field commander to be swarming a building with in Ark of Osiris in this tier of play, in this realm, right?
I really think it is. You know, that skill damage debuff basically that he provides is a sick addition to a swarm on a structure, especially whenever it's Wu, where she is known for, and this is why you're going to see her in pretty much every single garrison on the map here. She's good anti-swarm, and she's held up so strong. Look how strong with the swarm and rally. She's been able to withstand it pretty easily with low effort on the WIB side. So that's going to stay on the blue team's side. But now down here at the Desert Altar, we've got a mix of everything at this arc carrier still running away towards their obelisk.
Actually, you bring up a good point, Dragothian, which is, I think actually it's not only the legendary commander, but also the epic commander that was out of the game. Like, both of them are really good for this realm, I would think, right? So the epic commander is making 3 targets take 15% more skill damage. The legendary commander is cutting healing effectiveness and doesn't do any skill damage, which is in many ways kind of a counter to Wu Zetian, right? Like, she's all about mitigating skill damage.
Yeah, that's kind of her thing. That's exactly her thing. That's why she's so good in the realm of Bastet. It requires some of that infantry damage, you know, that normal and counterattack damage hitting alongside of the burst of some skill as well.
I saw 3 Constantines swarming that Sky Altar. Switches back hands to Webb. Map now even, but Arc fully in the grip. Back at their own
There's
bases.
hard push.
Yeah, hard push. I think it's such a dangerous position for Webb to be in right now. So, first of all, 60 GT controls the timing of this arc. So the fact that they just use hard push in Webb means that if 60 GT accelerates their arc turn-in time, they could potentially have many more points than Webb. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
60 GT controls the pace here. Or 60 GT, they may just say, you know what? We're still just going to kick back and wait a really long time because our strategy is to have only 2 arcs. And either way, that's a good situation for them because they're up 3,000 points before they even turn in this arc. So afterwards, they're up 6,000 points. Oh, man.
That's huge. That's the downside. If you're the opponent of that, if that's happening to you, it's the downside of that happening because not only did you get that 3,000 point burst of points against you, but if you lost your structures while you were doing it, that's just a double whammy, and that's going to put them significantly behind. It's not obviously going to end the game, but it's definitely a point where WIB kind of has to do the same thing. They're going to have to not only get this next arc, but get it and at least hold their own structures and maybe take somebody else's in the process.
Yeah, I mean, WIB needs 2 arcs, or they need to start to win the building game and get the next arc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tall order, you know. The buildings are, I would think, pretty defensible in this meta with a Richard I Wu Zetian. And I do see a lot of Saladins running around. So actually, I think that's a pretty good answer. Saladin, Alexander the Great. Those do cut healing. So I think that's pretty solid. But these garrisons are pretty tough to take down, it looks like.
You know, something to consider. I don't see, and maybe it's a glitch on my side, but I don't see any cities left in the 60 GT side, whereas I see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities still in the starting zone for WIB. I know that WIB lost at least one of their obelisks at some point during that arc match as well, and maybe those teleports went to 60 GT instead of WIB, and that's why they're able to get all their cities out. But that's a huge advantage at this point in the game. 36 minutes left with having all of your cities out while your opponent still has a third of them still sitting in the base. That is huge. That's a something to pay attention to for the next middle team, assuming that they cap this arc at some point. I mean, I if it was me, maybe they don't know that that's happened on the red side, the 60 GT side, but to me, that's a huge advantage for another middle engagement where you have a lot quicker reinforcement capability to the middle team or to anything else really in that matter versus WIB not being able to with having the base so far away from the middle.
Yeah, I mean, what does that add to your round trip for a fight? Like 5 minutes more? I mean, it's a massive.
It's a good chunk. It's a
effectiveness.
very good chunk, and that's if you're Cav. I mean, if you're sitting there plunking along with your Richard Charles coming up the middle, I mean, that's going to be. You might as well go, have lunch really quick and come back. That way, you can at least be well nourished by the time your army arrives.
You gotta love Windswept set, baby, for getting that march speed going. Infantry, Cavs, or the accessory. I love that KVK accessory, 5% march speed. They're going to be needing that in order to move downfield with 8 cities all the way on their starting zone. Rough. A little bit of pressure looks like it's making its way to the WIB Desert Altar. Meanwhile, Rally passing on the other side, headed down to the Shrine of War. Would it be crazy to say that in this realm, it seems like it's more important to have a rally with your swarm?
Oh, it's definitely more important. I mean, this is obviously with any realm, right? But the more that you are actually supporting your rally because of the fact that you've got Wu in these structures and there's no end game commanders. You don't see Attila Takeda. You don't see Zhang Yu. You don't see William. You don't see Ramses even in this. Guan is out of the question. I mean, these are the most basic commanders in this game when you first start and are into season 2 of KBK basically. So you got to have some firepower with your punch. It's not as easy to take a structure all of the rallies in this game are easily swarmable. And traditionally, you're not going to have the top tier equipment either, although I'm sure there are some players in this matchup that do, in fact, have top tier equipment. There may even be some Heroic Anthem. In fact, I know for a fact there's Heroic Anthem equipment being thrown around in this matchup 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in the realm of Horus, like you could kind of just get away with swarming a structure to try to take it. And of course, a rally helping will be better. But it seems like in this realm, if you're not launching a rally and swarming, I just don't think the structure is going to change hands.
Oh yeah, it's you either have to catch the team completely off guard with no support, like they did in the middle whenever the 60 GT was continuing to rally while also properly reinforcing the middle. It's one of those things where you just don't have enough troops to go around, and you're still sending a rally with maybe 3 or 4 marches. You may lose it. That's the only way you're going to lose it, without a proper concerted push. You've got to have, because you're sending Edward Tamiris, you're sending Edward YSG, you're sending Saladin YSG, you're sending Genghis YSG. Like that's the rallies that you're sending right now. There's not a whole lot of other marches to go for. You can do Alex YSG if you want to. You can do Alex Charles, but there's not really a whole lot of burst from the actual rally. So I mean, you don't have your Guans and your Ramses and your XYs like we were talking about earlier. So you really have to, like what 60 GT is doing right here. They sent the rally. They see that there's not a huge amount of troops around to defend it. There's a good chunk of them from WIB, but it might not be enough. 60 GT pushing all up they can to maybe do this rally and swarm.
Yeah, I mean, 60 GT is very much controlling the structure game, and they've got the arc. They fully control the pace of this game, and they've even got the cities teleported forward. In 3 minutes, they've got to cap the arc. And from there, finally, there'll be an opportunity for WIB to make a big comeback.
I mean,
do you think they're going to be able to pull this off?
It's a 4,000 point game now in favor of 60 GT, and they still have the arc. So now we're talking a 7,000 point game. 30 minutes left. Anything is doable, Jisco, but WIB has got to turn it around, and I think they're starting to. Look at over here on the top lane here. They've taken the Sky Altar now at the expense of losing their Desert Altar. So that's, a downside, but this is kind of thing that they needed to do. They needed to go ahead and take some structures away from 60 GT and interrupt their game plan, because right now 60 GT seems to be dictating, like you said, dictating the pace of the match.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cap on the Shrine of War as well. Okay, and one of the outposts. I mean, this is what WIB needs to be doing, but they needed to be doing this for the last 10 minutes, not just right before the arc is going to spawn, because now arc has been captured. 7 minutes and 30 seconds until the arc spawns, which means, by the way, they only get a couple more minutes of kind of playing around before they're going to be thinking about going to the center again.
Well, they've got the Shrine of War on the top lane from 60 GT. WIB does. So at least for right now, I mean, 60 GT is starting to come in, but 20 seconds until this captures. This YSG garrison holding its own, holding up, and I think they will at least get 1 tick of points from this Shrine of War. But like you said, this is the kind of thing that they need to do in order to kind of get back into this, because now, again, having captured it, 7,000 points in favor of 60 GT. A lot of people are already starting to complain that their coins may, in fact, be lost. I don't necessarily think we're there yet, folks. So let's slowly calm down. I think we got 30 minutes left in this match. But again, it does need to start turning around for WIB if they want to go ahead and start to get back in this game. And unfortunately, losing your Sky Altar is not the way to do it. Again, sometimes you just can't help it. You have a strong 60 GT team with rallies and field support and swarming support taking these structures, and then they have proper garrisons to boot. There's a Constantine sitting right in there as well. Oh my, this might be a 10,000 point match before we know it.
Yeah, so what do you need to do to win from this position if you're WIB? You need to get 2 arcs, I think. So they need to get this arc, and then they need to run it back and get another one. But there's more. With 6 minutes left till arc spawn, they need to, first of all, get their Sky Altar back before they go to middle. I don't think they can afford to run to middle without getting their Sky Altar. So they've got a big problem here. Not only do they still, I think, have some cities in their starting area? They do. That's pretty catastrophic. I see 5 still in their starting area. But it's worse because they have to get their Sky Altar back from the outside lane. And even if you just tried to march to the middle from the outside lane, I mean, it's going to take you, what, like 3 to 4 minutes? So this is going to be very difficult for them to take that Sky Altar back and get to middle with the amount of forces they need to have a clean victory so that they can get another arc after this one.
I just saw something really interesting as you were breaking down exactly what Webb needs to do here, and that's a lot. It's a lot to do, like you just described, and it's going to be difficult. They were swarming the Shrine of Life on the top lane here, had it almost down to nothing twice in the span of 20 seconds, and they got a rally. Oh, that's why they did that. Okay, so here we go. Instead of continuing just to swarm it, because they had people coming over to reinforce it and things like that and start to take out their swarming marches, they disengaged, and now they're swarming somebody's city. And it's the guy who was coming over there to help reinforce and kill those reinforcing and swarming marches. So now 60 GT has a rally on the structure, which is about to look like it looks like it's going to take it. And because they're over here causing a little bit of damage and a little bit of distraction, I think, more than anything, or just trying to get their marches back. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. It delayed the people coming over to actually reinforce. And there we go. There's the Shrine of Life getting taken by the rally solo after all the swarming marches disengaged, killed themselves to get their marches back so they can now go to the middle.
You know, my biggest concern for WIB right now is they just have so many marches downfield swarming structures that I just don't know if they're going to be able to get to middle in time. And I see one player even trying to swing around the back to get to the middle, which I don't know. I think I would have just stayed at the structure until your march died, I guess. But this is the weirdness of Richard I and Constantine paired together, is that they're so tanky that if you can't exceed the DPS of the healing, at some point you're just standing there, not actually making any progress and just losing time. That's got to be the biggest advantage of that Constantine Richard garrison, is the immense ability to stall.
Yeah, and you know that Richard Constantine that you're referring to. There's Richard. Is that a Richard Sun Tzu? Hold on a sec. No, that was Richard. Right? No, that was Richard Wu. This is Richard Wu. Don't. Yeah, I can't see that. But this Edward rally is doing a great job getting reinforced, by the way, in addition to not only beating on this Desert Altar and causing players to pull off from the middle and try and hold this Desert Altar, knowing that they can't do this again. They can't lose all the structures and lose possibly the middle at the same time. That's another 7,000 points going on to the red team's favor. They can't afford that. So they're going to hold that structure, I think, with peeling some of those guys off. But that's going to hurt the middle team just a little bit. Although blue team's got a really good, solid position in front of the temple right here. Wibb's got, wow, great position with their players. Cisco, what do you think we're going to be looking at here? Are they going to push? Are they pushing right now?
Yeah, I think it's time. 2 minutes till arc spawn. 60 GT has a little bit of distance to cross. Now's the time. War drums being activated. I would expect to the death will follow it up as soon as the combatants are fully engaged.
This is a really important arc.
This is a must-get arc for WIB. Here we go. Where's to the death?
Nothing yet. Maybe they're waiting for the rest of those to come in. That little stragglers in the back, do you think?
Cast it, baby.
There
we go.
That's from WIB, and that's from 60 GT. Okay, so they both.
There we go. Everybody's all in. They both had 10 points for what it's worth. So actually, Laguna using the hard push earlier in the match was a great choice because they both ended up with 10 points anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt them at all. That's good to know. Yeah, that's really good to know. You know, for those of you that are future planning. Unfortunately, WIB looks like they're losing this matchup. Look at all the sad faces for the blue team going back. Lots more reinforcing armies coming in for the red team, as you can see, coming up from the bottom. Lots more coming in. And WIB here getting some more reinforcements coming in as well, but maybe not quite as timely they're starting to really see the to the death coming in from 60 GT affect their marches in a bad way.
Yeah, I was sort of worried that WIB didn't have the numbers they needed in the middle at the start of the fight. Like, I know they were balled up and it's hard to see, but when they were a little more spread out, it felt like 60 GT was making a bigger commitment to the middle. And either they've got the numbers or they've got a quality to their field fighting capability that is kind of making them a cut above. I mean, look at how many blue marches are going home. Have you seen a single red march go home? I haven't.
Earlier, a couple, but yeah, for the last, what, 30 seconds to 45 seconds? None. All of them are blue.
It's
bad.
It's like I said earlier.
It's a meat grinder.
You're not early to the mid fight. You're late, late is real bad.
It is a meat grinder, and the red team is the one operating that machine. Oh my goodness. Red is cranking on that meat grinder and also grabbing the arc, by the way, again, grabbing it and
from
running
the
with
other side
it.
of the temple.
Yeah, wrong spot, but still, they're like,
I know you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh, is it behind the temple? But they're running, and it's going through a sea of red marches. I mean, it can't be too bad off.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
It's fully not going to matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it seems early to call this arc for one side or the other, but it would be a true feat of strength for WIB to turn this mid fight around and get this arc. And the reason I say that is they're just too outnumbered. Like, there's no way they can get the number of marches they need to the middle.
All right, so looking around to see what else they could possibly be doing right now to help solve this issue. It looks like they may take this Sky Altar, unless there's some more reinforcements coming in. There's one slowly making their way in. Man, that double C is moving fast with infantry, isn't it? That's interesting. Lancelot infantry coming in too. I'm curious to see if this is actually going to go in. So, trying to get the buildings. I mean, they have to get the buildings. They just lost the arc fight. I mean, it's not even close at this point. 60 GT absolutely devastating. How is this a thing? A Saladin rally with 4 swarming marches, debuffing to skill damage. Oh my god. Unbelievable. Unbelievable the tankiness of this Constantine. Constantine Wu seems to be, oh my, just super tanky. This is tanking everything.
It feels like in this meta, you really do need the rally, and you need that rally to be full. And it's exactly, by the way, what I was suggesting, that this game is defined by the arcs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the buildings are important, but they're so hard to take that it feels like the arc is where you differentiate yourself.
This Constantine has to have just the best gear. I've never seen a Constantine with this low of troops hold up so well to 4 armies swarming it, debuffed, skill damage debuffed, stat debuffed, damage taken debuffed from Alex, and Saladin skill damage going up against it. I mean, this guy just took out a half full march from the building, and it's still holding strong.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
So
the
impressive.
Constantine is really great in this league. No question.
I've never seen a Constantine hold up that well. Let's go jump back to the arc here. It looks like KKS is trying to do something around the arc, but unfortunately has lost his final march there. There is another player in here somewhere. There he is. EOD Jedi with the almost dead Saladin as well. Lil Jedi coming in from the side, though. Tokard also coming in.
So they're making
hot.
a move.
Yeah, they're coming in.
But I just don't know that it's going to do anything. But so they took down the carrier.
60 GT kind of maybe packed it in a little early, huh?
So here's what you need to do if you're in WIB. And this is a Hail Mary. But you still need to, if you can, attack the arc from this part of the bottom of the temple area, right? And start to move it back to your side. And if 60 GT doesn't bring reinforcements back to carry this arc, they're in trouble. And here comes a rally. Mumph the Muffin. Double C rally with, unfortunately, I think, mixed... No, it's all calves. If he cancels that rally, which think he did. I mean, he just deposited
Yeah, he did.
however
It
many
was a
marches
taxi
that was
rally.
right on top of the arc. Yeah, taxi. That's right.
Yep, definitely a taxi rally. There's a lot of blue over here. I mean,
Red.
they're still coming, and they needed to do this. They needed to.
They needed to do this.
They needed to.
Did 60 GT not adequately escort their arc?
I don't think they did, but they're also not sitting on their rears on the bench. If we look at the top lane here, Desert Altar, they're all swarming at the Desert Altar on the top lane. They've taken the Shrine of War, which all WIB are just walking right past.
Another taxi rally, Drago. More troops deposited right on top of the arc.
I mean, they may actually get this and pick it up. Now, the next question is, where are they going to take it? Because they're surrounded by red.
They gotta go take the Desert Altar and cap it.
Hard push.
I cannot believe that 60 GT has not adequately escorted the arc, and not only that, but they walked the arc directly on the path that those rallies were gonna. I mean, directly on the path. I mean, they practically rallied the arc with how cleanly those rallies were walking in that direction. And there they have it. Dragothian.
Just walking it back. And they don't need to do it at the Desert Altar, honestly. They can just keep walking it back. They control all the space.
Just keep going.
They control all the space.
Shrine of War either, man.
Yeah.
It's a danger zone over here.
I mean, like I said, WIB has committed to do this, and it's a great tactic, but they're also losing all their buildings on the back end. They've lost everything but their Sky Altar and their Shrine of Life on the top lane, although the Sky Altar looks very secure for WIB. Good job controlling that one. And this is definitely looking like WIB's fight to take. They're definitely getting hit.
I love this. Here's what I'll say, right? I say this very frequently, but you got to play to win rather than play to not lose. Playing to win is going for this very tiny % chance of success in order to take the arc like they just did. And they did it. I mean, I would have given them maybe like a 10% chance at best to pull this maneuver
Running
off.
charge.
And here they go, running charge. Get me out of here, baby.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, they're moving that arc. Now, WIB could pretty easily commit the same mistake that 60 GT made and not keep sending troops to reinforce this situation. They've got to keep bringing troops to this arc, or they could still lose it. And I mean, this is pretty impressive.
Now, if 60 GT collects it first, it's so close to the Desert Altar. They'll just cap it, right?
Yeah, I don't think they... Yep,
Ooh,
there it is. WIB got it again.
Gets it. WIB gets it. Not moving, but they have it. He may have grabbed it and not knew. Not. He's like, oh, maybe I didn't do it.
Page the arc carrier.
No, they're going the wrong way.
Oh my god. Do they not even know they have it?
I don't think they do. I think he's attacking.
No, they're going the wrong way.
He was attacking somebody.
Gosh.
He didn't know he had it. Fergie won her.
Oh my gosh. Whoops. Some big time lost there. I mean, that was like 5 or 6 seconds. They could have been moving that in the correct direction.
Yeah.
And 60 GT picks it up to correct, but loses it. Oh man.
I'm trying to figure out how to explain what's happening on the screen here. Just you got 60 GT coming in from all directions. WIB trying to get the arc in their direction. They finally do. Mumph the Muffin grabs it and is running. Let's see what Marchie has it with. It's a Sun Tzu moving it along the field here. And again, like they got their Shrine of War back, so they can take it there at least. And it'll take about 2 minutes to get there, especially if it's a Sun Tzu marching it. So that timing will be no problem. You can still capture it even if it's not captured, but still, you'll own it at least, and you can go ahead and have a garrison in there waiting for it. 60 GT may have just lost this arc.
The biggest problem is that the clock is running low.
Yeah, it's taking a while.
Even if 60 GT loses this arc, which now feels like an inevitability, not an uncertainty, but an inevitability that they've lost this arc.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that
run, Forrest, run.
Only going to be 5 minutes maybe after the next arc spawns to try to capture it. So if you're in WIB, you're going to have to cap this arc as fast as you can and spawn the next one and hope you can win that one and bring it back in the short amount of time. 60 GT doesn't even need to score the next arc. They'll just need to stall it. And they're still stalling right now.
With very few marches, I gotta say too. I mean, there's 4 times the marches for WIB right here than there are for 60 GT, and it's just taking forever for this thing to run over to its buildings.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Let's see. I think it's going to go down again here in just a moment. It's a
Yep.
Belisarius lead. Looks like Belisarius lead. So that will go down eventually, but not that quickly. It's getting some good movement now. This is probably the best run they've had with it.
Running charge earlier was
They did.
probably not advisable.
Yeah, it was still too contentious there at that
mean,
point.
Yeah, the carrier went down anyways. They almost would have been better off with a combat-related ability, I would think.
Yeah.
Although that was almost certainly, in fact, almost guaranteed to be on cooldown. So finally, that Belisarius breaking from combat, getting a little bit of a march speed boost, which is coming from their skills.
If
Rally on the way to
they
the Shrine
can
of
drop the carrier. I know there's stuff in there. There's got to be stuff in there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Cap it. He's
They gotta cap it. There you go. Capped it.
is.
WIB with a
Here's the
secured
problem.
arc.
Here's the problem. Dragothian, 4 minutes and 40 seconds is the amount of time they will have to get this next arc. Now, here's the thing. This could go in favor of WIB. WIB has done what they needed to do
There's a 0%
in
chance.
order to have a chance. Okay? And you gotta commend them, because that was really impressive. They saw that 60 GT got a little bit ahead of themselves for the position they had with that arc. They very excellently rallied cities to move troops downfield to exactly where the 60 GT arc carrier was. They took the arc, they scored it. I mean, that kind of play at this tier of quality at the finals is really impressive. So now they've won themselves the opportunity, Dragothian, to have a 4 minute and 40-second arc capture. But you know how long it takes to walk from that temple area?
Oh, so long. About 2 minutes. Uncontested, about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Depends on what march you're using. So they have about 2 minutes of wiggle room to win an arc fight, which, by the way, they have not yet done.
Correct. And I mean, look at the points per minute. So 890 points per minute in favor of 60 GT versus 210. 60 GT owning all of the altars and have done for some time, generating massive points in favor of the red team. I think even if the next arc is captured by WIB, they're going to be negative points in the trade, giving off their 2 altars to the red team in favor of taking the arc. And then we know that 60 GT is going to go ahead and keep it busy in the middle, at least, to stop that arc from spawning. 6 minutes until that arc spawns, by the way. But finally taking back that desert altar on the top lane is WIB, sending the 60 GT crew home. But still 3 altars now in favor of the red team.
I mean, this might just be a point differential that's insurmountable.
Yeah, I think
The
it's just
only
too much.
thing, you've got to count on 2 things now. First of all, a 4 minute, 40-second arc capture. Second of all, you've got to count on your team having done some amazing provisioning,
Oh, man.
whereas 60 GT needs to have basically not provisioned in order to make up the difference. So an arc and a provisioning difference is what it would take.
And I feel like in the beginning, when we were going over the top point scorers for 60 GT, one of them was a heavy provisioner, over 8,000 provision points on a match by match basis. That's substantial. That's a large commitment to provisioning, especially with the reduction in points that they've gotten over the last season. So I think that's going to be a hard pill to swallow whenever we're talking at the end of the match, hoping to have more provisioning by a substantial amount than your opponent when your opponent is 60 GT.
Yeah. Oh, man. And look at the wave of 60 GT going to the middle.
Yep, everybody.
Triple, quadruple what WIB is sending right now. I think WIB knows they need to get this arc, but there's just too many other things they also need to do, like right
Take back their
now.
building, which is what they're doing.
I mean, they are
by the way.
swarming
They're
that
doing
Sky
it.
Altar. But what a commitment. 12 marches sitting at the Sky Altar, not in the middle, with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left till the arc spawns, and 4 minutes and 40 seconds to bring that arc home after that.
God, that Constantine.
Oh, boy, this is really precarious.
That Constantine, though. Oh, my. That Constantine has seen some things. All right, so let's go to the middle and see how this thing's going to play out. I think WIB, again, they're just absolutely shoveling everything into the middle. They know that they know they need the points. I think they also know that this is probably a wrapped up show, but they're gonna make a last stab ditch effort at this. There's 8 minutes 20 seconds left, and nobody gives up, especially in the finals. And I definitely don't see WIB being one of those teams to do so. So 60 GT, however, really pouring in their marches from the top.
GT, you gotta strike.
Yeah.
That iron is hot. Let's go. And WIB knows it. Look, they're retreating, which they should. They can't stay there. Oh, one march caught out. Fare thee well. Nice knowing you.
Good day, Genghis.
60
Good day.
GT taking their spot at the temple here. Oh yeah, that guy realizes and that's smart, by the way.
Yeah,
They
pulling them away from the
realize-
temple. Yeah.
Yeah, pulling them away from the rest of the WIB players,
Yeah.
so that WIB has a chance. Now, what do you need to do if you're WIB to get this arc? I have an idea, Dragothian.
Fired up.
They need to get the arc first, and then they need to use running charge and have a breakaway, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
They need a breakaway. If they can't win the fight, they need to grab it faster and get a breakaway, which is we keep sort of reducing the possibility space for a WIB victory, right? There's just not as many options for them as there were at the start. And if they've lost the last two fights, I just don't know what's going to change for this one. I'll tell you what it's not going to be. It's not going to be having more people here.
Yeah.
I think they're outnumbered again in the middle.
Yeah, they are. And they're late again to the middle. And again, it's not their fault. We can't blame WIB for having to get their stuff back. They not only need this arc to be even in the same 10,000 group of points, right? But they needed to keep their structures and have them at least ticking points for them. Now it's 590 to 590 points per minute. So it's evened up at least. So this will be a raw point total going towards whoever wins the arc. The problem is 60 GT has aggressed them so much when it comes to their outside structures, their main structure and point generating structures, that it's just hard to bring everybody to the middle because you're busy trying to take your stuff back.
Here it is. War Drums Mystical. Mystical now being activated, and War Drums for WIB. What next?
Heaven's Grace.
Grace.
A little early,
I think Heaven's Grace is a fine ability. I think Heaven's Grace is also fine to use a little early, but I think only by seconds, not by, by that long. The real question becomes, did they save enough points to get a breakaway? And look at the temple for WIB right now. Just look right north of the temple. Look.
I think so.
They've got the setup, man. They are in position, and 60 GT is not doing anything about it. 60 GT is all over the place except the one spot they need to be, which is attacking the carriers on the other side of the temple. Those carriers now starting to run around, so they're a little bit less obvious of a target. I think it's a little late for that because 60 GT is now pulling north of the temple to go deal with those carrier marches.
Yeah, those carrier marches started to move as soon as they saw 60 GT coming over on the right side to stop exactly what you were saying. And look at this, more marches going back for the blue team. 60 GT just not losing these open field fights. These are one-sided affairs. And now the temple is completely covered with 15 seconds until the arc spawns. Now it's going to be an absolute cluster to try and figure out who's going to have the arc, who's timing it, who's moving it. It's going to insta-die because of 50 AoEs landing on its head. This is exactly what 60 GT wants. They want absolute chaos and mayhem in the middle so that it's not going to be an easy capture and run for WIB.
Here's the thing. Oh, 60 GT
Here's the thing.
with the pickup.
Here's the thing.
Bad
60 grabbed
news
it and
for
running
WIB.
charge.
They are moving that arc because they know They know that all they have to do is stall right now, and they are, wow, dude, look how much that arc moved.
Yeah, he's gone.
That thing is flying. Woo! Now what do you do if you're in Wibb's shoes?
That's
I
tough.
don't know. I think the dice were rolled there. They needed the hard 6 and they didn't get it.
I mean, it's really hard to win these fights when you're the only one getting sent home. It's almost unfair. I mean, I don't see any 60 GT marches going home. They're all staying.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's one. One finally went down.
I don't know what is the source of 60 GT being so dominant in the middle, but every single one of these arc contentions has been a pretty one-sided affair when the dust settles. Right? When the dust settles, right? Like it's really just like the one team is left, and there wasn't even like it was like an extremely extended fight where both teams are refreshing. This is usually the. Oh, I thought they had it for a second. Webb had it. It feels like this is usually the case, though, in Arc League at this tier of play, is that there's only one team left standing at the end of one of these brawls, and it happens pretty fast.
Yeah, very fast. And, I mean, 60 GT, again, just owning the field, has the arc. I mean, this is the exact opposite thing that you wanted to see happen if you were Wib. Not only did you want to have the arc yourself, but you also wanted to have it free and clear from a huge mass of 60 GT. And now, you know, knowing what's happening, we've got the new reinforcements coming in on the bottom side of that mountain range to try and basically do what they did before and steal it away and grab it up towards their Shrine of War. That was a great move and great take, by the way, on that last arc by Wib. But I don't know if it's going to work this time, considering all the marches are still here for 60 GT. They have not dispersed like they did before. And with 2 minutes left, obviously, I think at this point, this arc is either uncapturable or it will be captured by 60 GT at their Desert Altar. I think that's the only play right now. Or, again, it just kind of sits there.
They're changing directions. They're going to the outpost.
Scenic
I
route.
think they realized they just need to go in a direction away from Webb.
Yeah, just get away from the blue stuff.
Not toward the Webb marshes. And they were, when they were going to that altar, headed right toward a swarm of Webb marches. So I think that was a very smart adjustment. And look, there's even a rally that is getting swarmed.
It's a double C rally,
You've
too.
got to hand it to Webb. They play the rally game really well. Putting marches exactly where they need to be with rallies is really quite the move.
Yep, they do a great job with those taxi rallies. Top obelisk basically rallying the bottom obelisk cities for 60 GT, and that's basically an X line cross with where the arc is right now. They've timed them perfectly. They probably sent that march, or they probably started that rally about 2.5 minutes ago. So that's a great example of some planning for WIB. But with a minute left, and it being a 10,000 point game basically at this point, plus an arc, sitting in the hands of 60 GT, I think we can officially call it. Let's go ahead and go into the chat and throw some hashtag good games, GGs, for both teams. Obviously, congratulations to 60 GT for finally giving us another running charge for WIB, but finally giving us a champion, our first champion of the day, Chiskel.
Yeah, congratulations to 60 GT and also to Webb for making it all the way to the finals. What a game this was. Impressive plays by both teams. If I were to summarize before I head off to my own Ark of Osiris match in just a moment, I would say that this game is characterized by domination in the temple area. And although there was definitely strong plays by 60 GT for those buildings, it was their ability to control the temple area every single arc that afforded them this amazing victory.
Totally agree with you. I appreciate that insight. Thank you so much, Chiskel. Good luck to you in your match coming up against a solid Osiris League contender, from what I understand. So good luck to you on that. But let's go ahead and jump through here. Most valuable player on the WIB team, HP Enigma, looking strong at 176,000 individual score. That is a fantastic score. But let's continue to the battle summary between these two really solid teams. Total kills, almost 73 million in favor of 60 GT. Oh my, that is a large total kill number. And obviously, I think we all saw this in the middle. I mean, just straight killing anything not the color red in the middle was 60 GT. And then again, swarming and taking structures very effectively on both lanes, top and bottom. Occupation score looking very strong in favor of 60 GT. Ark of Osiris score, obviously getting that ninja capture from 60 GT was WIB on that second arc, and probably given enough time, that last arc would have made its way towards a red structure and gotten captured, but not enough time to get that third arc. So it ended up being a 2-arc game. Wow. Look at this. Provisions basically equal, 4,919 versus 4,977. Units healed relatively the same as well. All 30 teleports being used on both sides. Wow. This was an amazing match. Let's go ahead and jump back into the studio here, and I will wrap this up, and we'll be waiting our next match coming up at 15 UTC. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're in the studio. Look, this was an amazing match. We had WIB, a solid top-tier team, probably the heaviest power team in the realm. If I remember correctly, they were. Going up against 60 GT, who was a little bit on the underpowered side when it came to the majority of the big power teams in the league, but it didn't matter. They are the champions. They are the first champion to be crowned this season, Season 4 of Osiris League. 60 GT, the realm of Bastet champions. Unbelievable match. It was a great showcase of strategy. That's not what I wanted to do. Great showcase of strategy. And I think just really strategy won it out. 60 GT did the right things at the right time. They aggressed when they needed to. They defended when they needed to. And they absolutely dominated the middle. 60 GT getting their name etched on the Osiris League trophy. Wow, that was a great match. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure you tune back in just over 50 minutes or so. We're going to be starting this engine right back up. Going to go cast ourselves a Realm of Horus champion. Make sure you tune in here for Chiskel and myself. Make sure you go in the description below to visit our channels. We are sponsored content creators for Rise of Kingdoms. Make sure you go and get that quality content. Throw a subscribe on this channel and a like on the video, and I'll see you guys very shortly. Cheers, everybody. Take care.